Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. How are you all today? I hope and pray that all of you are well and you're excited about the upcoming summer holidays. I know a lot of you are waiting for the summer holidays with excitement, but some of you might be a little bit stressed out and a little bit worried about what you're going to do with the kids for all of the time that you have at home. Now, we know across the pond in America, they've already started their holidays. It's been about a month. And for us in the UK, we've still got a few weeks of school left. And I know that some of you are thinking about home education and whether you could do it. So there are some of you that have been asking me, actually a lot of you have been asking me a lot over the past few weeks. So I decided to do the home education webinars. I've then released it last week again, sent it to all of you to have a look because some people missed it. And today I'm going to do a second part to the same webinar. The basic idea that I've got is that I can teach you to teach your children at home by yourself, and I can do it. I know I can because I've done it myself, so I know that I can help you. There are a lot of parents that are looking for curriculums, and they're looking around and then they'll see stuff that is good in one aspect, but then in another aspect it's lacking. So maybe it's not based on the maybe it's not based on Islam, first of all, right? Maybe it's based on some other values, depending on whoever's written it. Maybe it's not as comprehensive as they might want it. Maybe there's a lot going on. So there's a lot to do about choosing the right curriculum, choosing what works for you and your children. But there's also a lot to be said for having that environment at home where you can educate your children, because don't forget, mothers and fathers are the first teachers of your children, right? So it might be difficult for you to start off with, but as time goes on, you can try and do all of these little tips and tricks that we're going to share with you today that you can do at any time with your child to help you home educate, right? Just going back to the email because I want to stay on track as much as possible. So one of the main or the biggest questions I get is, but hang on a minute, how can I teach my little child and my older child together? How is that even going to work? Or what is that going to look like? And the short answer to pretty much all of the questions that I have today from all of you is that it's entirely up to you how you want to do it. It's up to you, and that's the beauty of home ed. So for example, if you find that in the mornings you are a morning person, you're up bright and early, okay, then maybe that's a good time for you to get your housework done, get your cooking done, get everything out of the way. And then once the kids start waking up, you do some work with one child, some work with another child. Maybe they're close enough in age that the topic could be the same, but you're going to be doing different elements of that topic. Now, to help you do that, what I've created is a curriculum. It's an entire curriculum for anyone that wants to follow the British curriculum in England from age 5 to 11, right? So if you want to teach your children these things at home, I've got the entire curriculum mapped out for you. The reason I've got it all mapped out is because I was doing that with my kids, right? So although my older children were at school before I started homeschooling them, when my eldest was in year 9, whilst they were at school, I noticed that they would have different teachers sometimes. Sometimes the teachers would have different accents. They would use different words. Like, I'm sure you've heard me say this before. There was one of the exercises was to write down, what does a baby need? And my daughter had written nappies, and the teacher had marked it wrong because she didn't know nappies was a word that you can use in England. She wanted it to be diapers, and she put that up on the board to display for everyone to see, right? Walaikum salam, Sister Adila. I'm sorry, I didn't see that message before. It's just popped up now. Walaikum salam. Welcome. I hope that everyone is here today. I've just got right into it, but welcome everybody. And please do put in the chat. This is a live chat, so you can ask me as many questions as you want as you're going along. If you've got questions about homeschooling, teaching your children at home, disciplining your children so that you can homeschool, we're going to be talking about all of that today. So please do come in and write down. So like I said to you, if you want like a fully comprehensive curriculum, that's what I've created for you. On top of that curriculum, you get weekly meetings with me teaching you how to go through that curriculum with your children. So at the moment, the first sort of 10 to 12 weeks we've got from now till September, I'm just introducing with you the different ideas or the different methodologies of reading, writing, numeracy, and then obviously science and topic work. So we've got 4 different areas. So we've already had a meeting about reading, we've already done numeracy, we've already done writing, which all of the mums absolutely loved and appreciated. And I'm gonna share some reviews later on. I don't know how I'm going to share them on here, but I'll figure out a way, inshallah. And the point is that it's about, all it is about, all homeschool is about is creating that environment where your children can learn, right? So you're just basically pulling out things so that they can start learning, so that they can enjoy learning, so that you don't have to drag them. Some parents are worried that, how am I going to convince them to sit at the table and work all day long? Well, guess what? You don't have to have them at the table sitting and working all day long. They don't have to be sitting and standing at attention and arms folded and fingers on your lips. You don't have to do any of that. That's what they have to do at school, because at school they've got 30 kids in one class. They've got to make sure everyone sits on the carpet. And I know my daughter came back once and said my daughter came back one day and she said that she had a carpet space and they'd made the carpet into a grid. Like, it's like regimented, and it's not really with the naturalness of the child, with the natural ideas of the child, or the natural way that the child would want to grow up. And if you think about it, hundreds of years ago, 500 years ago, 100 years ago, kids were not at school every day, all day, every day. They weren't at school. And a lot of the kind of, let's say, media stories are about kids that are not behaved. They're going out, they're doing lots of things. No, parents are not in control. Why aren't they in control? Why are parents not in control? Because they've forced us out to work, because in most places in the UK, which I've heard a lot of mums say, is we can't survive on one wage. There's just too many expenses, and they're getting higher and higher. In the UK, in the US, it's a similar story. In other countries, it's a similar story. So having 2 parents that are working is kind of important now, which means that if you're working, how can you then watch the kids and homeschool them? It's a very valid point, and we will discuss that later on. When I'm talking about the fact that the family has been broken down to such an extent over the last 100 years that we have to wake up and see what is going on. What is the big picture? The breakdown of the family is the starting of something. We've got to understand that it's not just, as we were told as we were growing up, oh, these teenagers, they hang around and they do this and that. Well, the teenagers that had a connection with their parents, that are still talking to their parents, that are still involved, or the parents are involved in theirs, you don't see those guys hanging out. Then you see other people saying, well, you need somewhere for the teenagers to go. Why do the teenagers need somewhere outside of the home to go to? Why can't we make the home so amazing and attractive to the kids that they actually want to stay at home, right? Now, I'm not saying make it super attractive, because I do struggle sometimes getting my kids out of the door. But the point is that having that balance of being there for your child, being there to teach them and to help them and to educate them, this is all about our role as parents, right? So this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be thinking about, all right, I have a limitation. I cannot, I cannot stop working. I can't, I don't have any extra help. I have kids of different ages. These are all limitations. But what I'm going to do today is help you to understand that all of these limitations can be taken away, and I can empower you, right, to work on it by yourself. Why do I say the word empower? I think hopefully all of you know by now that alhamdulillah, mashallah, we have been rewarded with being with an award for being the most empowering tuition center. Now, I'm the most empowering tuition center, the leader of it right now. But what I want to be is the most empowering parenting tribe as well. I want to encourage all of you to go out there and see those opportunities. Okay, my sister shared something with me last night, which is actually really relevant to today, where she was talking about, it was a neuroscientist, and she was talking about the synapses in the brain. So you've got your connections in the brain for the information that you need to use, right? So if you're using your brain constantly, you're learning new things, or you've figured out how to do something and it's in your mind, right? As long as you keep doing that thing, your brain thinks, yeah, that's useful, that I'm going to keep that information in my mind. But when you stop doing that thing, the brain starts to decompose, and it starts to, like, sort of, she called it pruning, like as if you prune a plant, where your brain starts to get rid of the connections that you're not using. Why is that important today? Well, because if you guys are stay-at-home moms, for example, and you're just in that mode of cooking, cleaning, washing, ironing, and you're not really developing yourself or your children to move forward, then it's a possibility that those brain cells start to disintegrate, because you're they don't really disintegrate. That's a fear-mongering word statement. I apologize for that. They start to break. Those synapses, those links start to deform, and that's what people a lot of the time call mum brain or pregnancy brain, because you haven't used that information for a long time. It's like it begins to gather cobwebs in your brain. And a lot of mums, once they've had kids and they've had their family, they want to go out and do something, because you don't want those cobwebs to take over, and you don't want to be cloudy, fuzzy brain the whole time, right? So even for myself, I was, again, just giving you my own examples. Even though I am at home right now, I'm not working, because I had to leave my job in the UAE to come over here to Qatar and support my husband in his new job. I'm not working. However, I was like, right, what am I going to do? Right? You don't just sit and be like, okay, fine, I can just do my housework. Yes, you can. But like, I don't know. Some people might enjoy housework. I don't know. I love washing up. I'll be honest with that. But the rest of the housework, I'd rather, just quickly get it out of the way and do something that I enjoy. And I'm pretty sure that all of you feel the same way, that you want to do something to help your kids. Maybe you want to homeschool them. Maybe you just want to support them. Maybe they're at school all day. When they come back, you want to do the homework with them, and you want to make sure that you can help them, right? So this is going to help you. What I'm talking about today is going to help you to help your children, whether they're at home, whether they're homeschooled, they're at school, whether they have tutors, whether they don't have tutors. You can help your children, right? So this is what I want to do today, is empower you with the knowledge and the information that you need. So first of all, one of the first questions is how to teach children of different ages at the same time. So that's a very valid concern, and a lot of people ask that a lot of the time. So the thing is, at school, what we have to do as teachers is we have to differentiate the work. Okay, so this word differentiate, you might have heard teachers use it before, but when you differentiate the work, you are making that work accessible to the children with the lowest ability and those children with the highest ability. And what you're doing with the high ability kids is stretching them further. So they might be learning, for example, about, let's say, a simple idea about how does sugar dissolve in water, right? So with the lower ability kids, you'd be saying to them, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get some water of different temperatures. We're going to take a spoonful of sugar and we're going to stir it. We're going to time it. And you're going to be like very kind of informative and help them. With a higher ability kid, you do the same experiment, but you'll ask them, you'll be like, okay, I want to know how long it takes sugar to dissolve, and or what affects the time that it takes sugar to dissolve. So you want them to come up with the ideas that, oh, it's going to be the amount of sugar that you add, it's going to be the temperature of the water, it's going to be the amount of water. So all of these things that are going to affect the time that it takes for the sugar to dissolve, you want the child to come up with rather than you come up with them. That's the difference. So you could do the exact same thing with a year 3 child that you could do with a year 6 child. And the year 6 child, you'll expect them to come up with more of the ideas. With a year 3 child, you expect them to follow more of the directions. But it's the exact same work. So you don't have to have like 2, 3, 4 different lessons going on at the same time. There are certain situations where you will have to teach them separately. For example, maths is normally one where there will be an older child will be a lot further up the curriculum than a younger child might be, okay? But at the end of the day, they're both doing maths. So what you do is you teach the first one and you teach it in a staggered way. So you do 15 minutes explanation, get them going with some questions, and then you start with the next one, 15 minutes, get them going with some questions, and then you just continue like that and keep going back and forth between the children. And what are you doing? You don't have to, as a lot of people say, have 1 hour for maths and 1 hour for English and 1 hour for this and 1 hour for that. You don't need that in homeschool. You don't need that when you're supplementing their education. You could do 15, 20 minutes of consistent work every single day, and that'll have more effect than doing hours of work that a lot of people think that you need to do. Okay, so I just got to make one quick note here. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so the next one is how to prepare your home educated child, right, for exams. This is an important one because a lot of the time people think, well, how can I get them ready for GCSEs and IGCSEs and A levels? I'm not qualified to do that, right? And I agree with you to some extent, but also I want to empower you to be able to do it by yourselves, right? So it is difficult. It's not easy getting a child ready for an exam. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's all right. You just do this, this, and this, and that's it. They're ready for the exam. Now it depends on what kind of grades you're looking for. If you're looking for the higher grades for that test, for that exam, then you are probably going to do better getting someone who's qualified in the subject, who knows what they're doing, and can push your child to get to that level. However, most kids want to know or have some idea of what they want to do by about year 9, year 10. They've got some idea of where they want to go. Do they want to go on the science side? Do they want to go on the English side? What do they like doing? And what you can start doing is start looking at the syllabus that they have to cover. So if you're in America, it'll probably be the SATs, and in England it'll be the GCSEs. If you're in Europe, it'll be the IB. If you're in India, Pakistan, you've got your board exams, right? Okay, so look at the formal exams that you're going to be working on and get the syllabus, get the information that they need to know. Now, most of us are now educated. Like I'd say, back in the day when we were talking about our mums, maybe there was only 10, 15% that were educated and they were out working, right? Okay, nowadays, most of the kids have got educated mums who are either stay at home or go out to work, right? Okay. Even if you're not educated or you feel like I don't have a degree, I don't have A levels or whatever, don't worry, because you can definitely learn how to do it. And it's just a case of sitting with your child and learning with them, as opposed to teaching them. And the benefit of this is, because of your age, you'll be able to learn it faster than them. Because of your experience, you'll be able to learn it faster than them. So you could potentially sit down, watch a YouTube video at night time that explains a certain thing. The next day you could teach it to your child. That is as easy as it gets. That is how you can do it, right? Like I said to you, if a child is ready now for their exams and they're like, okay, I want to do English, or I want to do sciences, or I want to do whatever, you got to start thinking, okay, if that's what they want to do, those are the subjects that we need their most help in, because we want them to get the good grades, because that's going to help them in their future career. So maybe they might be thinking of, I don't know, pharmacy, engineering, law, what's it called? I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Teaching, English, politics. What else are they interested in that age? So there's lots of like areas there, right? Business maybe. Okay, so they've got the area that they want to work in. So now what you need to do is focus your attention and your energy on that area and getting those grades for that area. The other subjects that they can still do 6, 7, 8, 9. They can do as many as they want GCSEs. You don't need to get teachers for those. What you can do is get teachers for the ones that you want them to get that awesome grades in. And then for the ones that you're okay with, you can teach it yourself. So geography, history, a lot of parents teach these themselves. There's not that many tutors around that are teaching these subjects, but you can get them. So if you want someone to teach your child the entire 7 subjects, you can get that. However, you can also teach them yourself, okay? And it's all about getting the syllabus, finding out what they need to know, and then literally teaching them. You can get good textbooks nowadays. However, most of the British textbooks that I've seen kind of wishy-wash over the subject, right? So they'll say something like, a variable resistor changes the resistance in a circuit, right? And that's it. That's all the information that you're going to get. Whereas the kids don't really get much further than that. They can repeat it to you. A variable resistor can change its resistance, but they don't really know what it means. So you might have to then watch a few YouTube videos and figure it out. Okay, this is what happens. The resistance is changed. This is what's going on inside. It either heats up to change the resistance, or it has a longer wire or something. So you can figure it out and then explain to them. The more you explain to the kids, the easier it is for them, because they'll understand the background behind it, right? So you can teach your child GCSE physics, no problem, as long as you're willing to put in that effort yourself, the day before or 2 days before, a week before, to teach it to yourself. You can also sit with your child, let them Google it, let them watch the videos, and then you just explain, the questions and answers that you need to explain at the end, right? You can, like I said, also get tutors, teachers. You all know that I teach IGCSE science, right? And I also teach IB. I have taught SATs in the past. I have taught AP in the past. So I've got experience of all of these topics, but mainly at the moment, I've got IGCSE classes and GCSE classes for separate sciences, biology, chemistry, and physics. And this is what I'm focusing on. I also have Key Stage 3 science class, and I work closely with a lot of other tutors for primary, Arabic, ICT, computers, business, psychology, sociology. Did I say ICT? Yeah. Okay, so we've got Arabic. Did I say Arabic? Yeah. Okay, so, and maths. So we've got lots of teachers that can help you in all of the subjects. But again, what a lot of parents say is, oh, it's going to cost me a lot of money. It's going to cost me a lot of effort. My answer to that is, yes, it does cost you money to have your kids do the GCSEs by themselves, for sure. It does cost you money. And it's not cheap, right? However, for me personally, when I had to take my daughter out because she was A, getting bullied, and B, I wasn't happy with the education that she was getting anyway at that school, right? So when we took her out, and the relief that I got from her being bullied was priceless. The kind of the calmness that came across the house, because we weren't always thinking about she's, this happened today, or she got this message today, or this girl said this today, right? We didn't have that problem. So because that didn't happen, it was, like, to me, worth every penny. And I tried loads of different people. I tried loads of different teachers, and it was really difficult to find qualified teachers, people that are experienced in exams, and they are good at what they do. So that's why I'm so adamant when I'm sharing, and I'm like, guys, I can recommend these people to you because I know who is actually really good at doing their job. One thing that I did realize was about tutors. If you look online and you type in how to make money online, right? A lot of the time, this is what people do. They type in there how to make some money online. And one of the first jobs that comes up is tutor. You can become a tutor. You can teach whatever, right? Okay. They can't teach. I'm sorry, right? Tutors, there are some tutors that can teach. I agree with you. But there are some people that go on there and they're just basically learning on the job, and you're paying them to teach a child, but they're not experienced in it. So I've had a student that came to me in year 11 that had been taught GCSE the whole entire time. The teacher didn't even know that you can't do GCSE as a home ed student, right? Because I said teacher, sorry, I meant tutor. The tutor didn't know that you can't do GCSE as a home ed student. So this is really important. You've got to get someone, especially in their exams that really mean a lot to you. Sorry, I've got itchy nose. That especially in the exams that mean a lot to you, you need to make sure that you've got someone that knows what they're doing. If you've got someone that knows what they're doing, your child's going to get an 8, 9, even a 7, 8, 9 grade, which is basically A to A star in the old system. That's what's going to happen, because it's practically a given, because they'll be able to explain things to your child that are really important. What I had with this girl was I had to do like damage control, and she did a lot of the questions with us, and she did in fact get 7 in one of them. I'm sorry, I think it's physics, I've forgotten which one, and 6 and 6 in the other two, which was still really good compared to the first biology exam where she was like, I couldn't answer anything, I didn't know what to do, I didn't get it, I didn't know what these topics were, right? So it's really important, right? And by the way, I only had her for like a month before she did the exams. So the point is that you need to understand the exam. The person needs to understand the exam, right? I've had other kids come to me from a company, I'm not going to name them, but there's a company that gives out like some kind of folders, and they say it's like self-study, and here you go, you can self-study it, and then you can email your teacher for some questions or whatever. But it's not a good system. The kids do not get that instant help that they need, and the parents have already spent I don't know how many hundreds of pounds on the syllabus, and then they come to us and say, well, can you teach my child as well now, right? So this is another aspect to kind of getting it done by yourself. I do agree that you can do a lot of the stuff by yourself, you really can, but you just need someone maybe to guide you on what to do, where to go, and maybe just get a teacher, qualified one, to share with you how they teach certain things. You can pay them for it if you want, right? But say to them, look, this is what I want to do. I want to teach my child this subject, and get them to go through the syllabus with you, get them to explain different things to you, whether you've got friends or family that are teachers that are teaching that subject at school or whatever, and you can get them to help you to do that. So again, you're going to home educate like a pro, because you're getting the help that you need from a pro, inshallah. Okay. So hopefully that's helped some of you. I realize that I'm talking a lot. So is there any questions or anything that anyone's thinking of while I'm talking? Just keep popping them in. I know some people are coming in to the live as I'm talking, so you might not have heard me. Just add those in. Okay, so the next question that I get asked often is about how to homeschool as a single parent. So what if you are the only parent and around, and you're the one that has to work and teach your children? Okay, now a lot of the time we get this as a parent is teaching their children at home, the other parent is working, right? As a single parent, you don't have that luxury of having someone to work and earn the income, and then you can teach your children. So in the UK, yes, you've got all these extra kind of, I guess, I don't know, income available from the government and help, but a lot of people don't want to do that. So how do you manage? So as a single parent, what I would say is, if you've got shared custody and you're co-parenting with your partner, you could make sure that they have the children 3.5 days a week. You have the children 3.5 days a week. What does that mean? That means on the days that you're off, you could do 3 days of work, whether it's part-time, whether it's a weekend job, whether it's whatever, okay, to get your income in. And then the other 3 days you would be teaching your children, because you'd have them, you'd be at home with them, you'd be able to spend all of that time, energy and effort with them, inshallah. Okay, guys, I'm on a live, so can you just... Sorry about that. Okay, so as a single parent, okay, that would be the ideal situation. The time that you've got with the kids, you homeschool them. The time that you don't have with the kids, you work, okay? That might not be able to be the case. You might not be able to do that. So you could work from home. I just had a single parent actually yesterday asking me about what's the best option and to work from home. So she's managed to find a work from home job, but she feels that she has to be available sort of in daytime hours. So I said to her, that's absolutely fine, because you could be doing your job during the daytime, and at that point you have your children occupied with all of the things that we teach you in Home Educate Like a Pro. We teach you all the different activities that you can do, what you can set up for them to do independently, what you can set up for them to do together, what you can set up for them to do, and you can then get on with whatever work you need to do on the side. So you could be getting them on with those activities and do whatever work it is. So you tell them these are the 3 hours that you need to work. Basically what I just did now, let them know, okay, that I'm sorry, I'm working right now. Let them kids know, make sure that they understand, right? And then once they know and they understand, then they're able to understand it in their minds. Like their mind will accept it, right? If you keep on talking to them, keep on explaining to them, this is what we're doing, then you can get them to a level where they will leave you alone to do that work, and you'll be able to teach them when it's time for teaching. So you could basically teach them for 20 minutes in the afternoon. Each child that's under the age of 10, they need about 20 minutes on maths, 20 minutes on English, and 20 minutes on another subject. It's pretty much all they need. And then we add another 20 minutes of Arabic or Quran in there, because obviously we need that as well, right? So as Muslims, the rest of the day, you've got a good schedule going on. Again, when you're in the Home Educate Like a Pro, I can go through your particular schedule with you, but it's a schedule would be more like prescriptive. What we do is try to have consistency and try to have a routine, right? Okay, so again, as a single parent, even if you've got to work, even if you've got other stuff to do, you can still homeschool your child. It's not going to be difficult, but it is going to take some time to plan it out, and you might have to change your kind of mind on as flexible that flexibility. Maybe there's certain days where you've got to do things and it's got to be just that day and there's no other day to do it. Maybe there's other times, like I said, you maybe wake up earlier than the other kids, maybe sleep later than them, maybe get some help in to do cleaning so that you can educate the kids. Maybe part of your home education is, right, everyone, let's sort out, organize this section. Okay, let's have a reading corner. Let us cook. Right? So all of these things that you're doing generally in normal everyday life is all part of home education, right? Especially if you've got extra jobs to do, like if you brought some IKEA furniture recently, or if you want to paint a room, or if you want to, like I said, reorganize a room or reorganize some bookshelves. All of these things are really good learning experiences for you and your children, right? A lot of the time parents say, well, what about if I don't have any extended family? What about that? What can I do if I don't have anyone to help me? And to be honest with you, even when you do have extended family, I don't really see a lot of extended family coming and saying, hey, let me just sit with you all day long and help you with your children, right? So it's kind of like, I want to say it's kind of like a bit of a misconception that if you have family around, they're always there to help you. In fact, I think I've told you guys this before, but my aunt came around a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was a month ago now. And my aunt was over here with her friends from the UK, and some of these obviously friends, most of them were mother-in-laws, and I was laughing at them like, you don't look like mother-in-laws, ladies. And they looked like really well looked after, and and it's like they actually said to me, they said, we've done our bit, we've raised our kids, we grew up with them, we've done what we can, and now it's time for our children to do their job. So they are available technically, but they wouldn't be like interfering with the family. Or I say interfering because in my experience that's what it's always been. However, I should have used a better word, like helping with the family. Okay, so having that help, even if you don't have that help, you'll be fine. If you do have that help, it'll be extra, right? And rather than people saying, well, I don't have any family to help, it's like, I have family to help, and alhamdulillah for that. But to be honest with you, not a lot of people have that family help around. They don't have the extra friends. They don't have the extra family. Remember, at the beginning of this video, we were talking about the breakdown of the family unit, and it's gone as far as the extended family is almost like there's no point in having them around, right? Then you've got your immediate family, that is your parents and your siblings, and then you've got your nuclear family, which is your kids and your husband, right? And again, if your husband is around, if you've got friends that can do things, if you've got other people, you can ask them to do certain activities with your children. But unless you're paying them, or unless you're doing something for them in return, you're not going to get that constant, consistent help. Like, I'm just saying it blatantly, like, to you as someone with experience. I have had people say, oh, it's all right, let's do this, activity, and we'll share the I don't know, cost of the Uber to there and back, or we'll share the driving, or we'll do this. The thing is, what happens is one of you ends up doing more than the other. It always happens. So in my opinion, it's better if you try to do it yourself as much as possible. And I should have actually mentioned this with the single parent thing, but I have had mums come to me and say that, look, I really need an income, and I need to find some work. I need to do something. I don't know what to do. And what have you done to make it work online? Like I said, I'm a qualified teacher. I've got a lot of exams experience. Alhamdulillah, my tuition business is thriving. But on top of that, we've managed to make another venture and another project with this Parenting with Allah by my side. And alhamdulillah, it's now starting to get like run by itself, right? Okay, so what I've done is I've created a course for mums that want to become a virtual assistant. So you can actually come in and learn how to be a virtual assistant, because people like me that work online always need help. We need people to write our emails, do our social media for us, take over, so that we can have a break. And I think most of you know, over the past month or so, I've really, really, really appreciated the help from all of the mums around me, all of the sisters that have stepped up and really helped, alhamdulillah. Okay, and sometimes you need that, because whatever season of life that you're in, you sometimes do need that help. It's true. However, my point was to not rely on it long term, because people don't necessarily do things unless they're paid for them, like I said, or they're getting something out of it themselves. They won't do it long term. So just keep that in mind when you think, oh, she's all right because her family only lived down the road, or he's all right because, you know, he's got loads of friends that pop in and out and help them do whatever. Yeah. Always look for learning opportunities. So if you know that someone's really good, at knitting or crochet or changing car tires or whatever, you can ask them for an afternoon or a couple of afternoons, can you please help my kids to learn? And once they've learned, they can sit and knit all day. Like, I remember one summer, my sister taught my girls finger crochet or something. Is it finger knitting or finger crochet? I don't know what it's called. But they basically were doing it with their fingers. They turn it around and do that. And they were just sitting in the garden, honestly. And it reminded me of when we were little and we were making daisy chains in the garden. And they were just in the garden doing this all day long. And they did not get bored. They didn't complain. And they were making little scarves and little God knows what. Yeah. So you can do these things as a homeschooler. You can do these things as someone who sends their kids to school. Okay, so this kind of blends on to the last subject, which was, what do you do if you don't have family? Well, if you live far away from people and you don't have family as well, if you live far away from people, then you tend to create a community around you, right? So it takes time, but like, alhamdulillah, I've been here for a while now and I've managed to find really good friends. So like a couple of weeks ago, when I was really down in the dumps, obviously due to what happened, they offered to take my daughter out. We already had a plan that we were going to go out before all of this happened, but they offered to take her with them without me, and just the offer was so like appreciated by myself and my husband. It was really, really appreciated. And then when I said to them, no, it's fine, she won't go without me, I'll go with her, they were like, well, you're not driving, we're going to drive you, right? And this is what you need. You need those people around you that are there to support you. And that's why I always, always encourage everyone to get that tribe around them, whether it's an online tribe or a real life tribe. You need sisters around you that understand what you're going through, because, for example, you might be the first one in your family to have children, right? You might be the first one to home educate. You might be the first one to work whilst you've got little kids. So you might be the second or third one, but really what we all need is help, right? So whatever situation we're in, whatever age or stage of children we have, we always need help. Take another little break there. Just let me know if you have any questions. Adila, you're the only one speaking at the moment. If you have any more questions, anything you want me to talk about, do let me know, inshallah. Just feel free to message, whether it's on Facebook or on the YouTube. So hopefully that helps you. Now, the next one is a little bit more controversial, because this one is where you're actually living with the family, and then you're like, right, I've got loads of family around me, and how do I now homeschool the kids? Because I'm always working for the family, right? So first of all, I'm going to go back to Islam, because that's what we do here at Parenting with Allah by my side at Your Parenting Tribe, is go back to Islam. Okay, Islamically, first of all, you don't have to live with family, right? That's the first thing. And one of the main kind of reasons for that is that being inside a family, it's difficult for you to do your own thing, right? And it is difficult for you to do your own thing because there'll be people that are judging you every single day, every moment of the day. So whether you've woke up early, whether you woke up late, whether you spend money, whether you don't spend money, whether your children are noisy or your children are quiet, there's always going to be comments. Like I said to you, it doesn't matter if they're quiet, they're still going to talk about it. If they're noisy, they're still going to talk about it. So a lot of parents come on and say, oh, my in-laws are complaining because of this or that or the other. Okay, it doesn't matter what you do, there will be complaints. I'm just like keeping it real here and telling you that this is what happens, right? And it's not on purpose, it's just the nature of people. This is what happens. So when you're living with family, sometimes you have to compromise a lot. And if you watch my entire video about homeschooling with extended family, that's on the Facebook group, okay, if you watch the full video, I talk about compromise literally the whole way through the video, because it is all about compromise. So you've got to work out whether you want to compromise your children's education compared to the work, whether you compromise with one of your co-sister-in-laws to do half the things or half the days, or how you work it out, or you teach them sewing, for example, and she teaches them maths, right? Okay, so you can work it out between you and at least one of the family that lives there. If you don't have other family around, see if you can help if the in-laws can help you to watch the kids while you quickly go around and do any housework you need to do, so that you can then sit down and teach your children. You might want to create like a little homeschool area in your bedroom or in the rooms that you use most often, so that you can teach your children. You can do it. So don't think that you can't, because there's always a can, but it's always a matter of how, and it's always a matter of what are you willing to compromise to do this. So are you willing to, for example, like I said, give up a room in the house or an area in the house where you can do this? Now, again, if you listen to any of my other homeschool videos, you'll notice you don't need a separate room. You don't need like loads and loads and loads of resources, right? You could have one book that you could plan your entire year on. So you could choose, like, for example, the Prophet stories, salam, and pick out lessons from there that you can get the whole year's worth of work on, right? So that's what I've done with Noah's Ark in the Ramadan camp. So for the 8 lessons, we were using that story to teach them loads and loads of Arabic vocabulary. And even now, Hafsa can say some of those words because she's familiar with the story. She knows the story beforehand. So it's like something that they already know, and you can then base it on there. So you don't need loads and loads of resources. You could get, like, it depends on how far you want to take it, really. You could even talk about peace treaties. You could even talk about, do you know what I mean? Like, so many things with just one story. It's amazing, mashallah. Okay, sorry, I just remembered what happened yesterday at the same time. My Hafsa came home with a picture of a well, and there was some writing, but there was a picture of a well at the top. And so she showed it to me, and obviously as a busy mom, you don't have time to read everything. So I just looked at the well and went, oh, mashallah, which prophet did you study today then? And she went, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And I went, no, Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, wasn't it? She goes, no, it wasn't that one. And I said, really? And then she goes, yeah, and he had a son, Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. And I said, no, it's a well. It's a picture of a well. Then I read it, and it was a picture of the Zamzam well. So obviously You can, like I said, you could talk about wells in 2 or 3 different stories. It was my own misconception. And why I pointed that out was just because I started laughing as I remembered it. But I pointed that out because you can use anything in front of you to teach your child almost anything, right? And again, when we do the Homeschool Like a Pro, you'll notice that I do put a lot of emphasis on teaching your children from stuff that you enjoy yourself, right? So we've touched on the next 2 questions already about how to homeschool children that have got different learning abilities and how to homeschool when you're working. Okay, but let's do them separately. So the different learning abilities, like I said earlier, if they've got different learning abilities, it's the same as different ages. All you do is you make it easier for the one, you scaffold it, you give them hints, you give them word banks, you give them like easier, sort of like more accessible work, so they could still learn about, for example, how day and night works, for example. But you might have to give them a bit more help in terms of visualizing it. So have a globe, have a torch, shine the torch on it, turn the globe around and explain to them this is the sun and it stays in the same place the whole time. And the globe turns, right? Now you're in dark. And then turn it again. Now you're in the daytime. Turn it again. Do you understand? So you can basically teach a child night and day with a physical object, or you could teach a child night and day with a simulation, or you could teach them with a worksheet, right? There's different children are going to learn in a different manner, and that's okay, because they've got, some of them will remember stuff from way before very easily. And some of them you'll have to keep on reminding them, remember we did this a few weeks ago, remember we did this. I've got one of my students who, bless him, he'll always be like, I know what it is, I know what it is. It's on the tip of my tongue, it's on the tip of my tongue. And I'll just give him the first letter and then he'll be like, yes, this is it. Right? Okay, that happens. That's fine. We're not expecting the kids to be like geniuses the whole time. We're just trying to help and support them so that they can learn to the best of their ability, right? Okay, then the next one is how to homeschool when you're working. So when you're working, it's again, like we said about the single parents, when you're working as well. When you're working, I think that there's an expense that you have to pay, right? There's some kind of limit to what you can do when you're working that is basically limited on your time. Because when you work, what you're doing is you're exchanging your time for money, right? That's what you're doing. Okay, and it depends on how much they're paying you for that time, whether you're going to work or not, right? And that's basically the simplest equation of working. Okay, now what I want to say to you is that if you are working, right, then someone, because again, this happened exactly yesterday, subhanAllah, a lady was talking about the cost. She said, what is the cost of the cleaner? And I said to her, listen, mate, let's not talk about the cost of the cleaner. Let's talk about the benefits of the cleaner. Because when I start talking to you about the benefits, you're not even going to worry about the cost. Okay, because that cleaner is going to come into your house and clean it for you so that you can come home from work, you can just take your shoes off, sit on the sofa, be there for your children, do their reading with them, writing with them, whatever they need to do. You can cuddle them, play with them, take them out if you want to. You could sit in the garden for the rest of the afternoon and it won't matter, because A, your house is all clean, and 2, the dinner's all made. So if the house is clean and the dinner's made, that's like literally half of your job done. So if you are working, you've got to think about the benefit of having someone come in for a couple of hours a day and help you to get your house to a certain order and get dinner on the table. If that can happen, how would your life change? And she was like, oh my God, that'd be amazing. I was like, now think about the cost. Is it a big cost? No, it's not, because that benefit that you get of being able to have everything ready for you there, made. It's like, it's unbelievable, especially for mums like us that have got multiple kids, that are working, that have got loads of things going on. It's like a whole load off your mind, right? And if you can manage to take that load off your mind, then I think you should do it. And a lot of people are like, yeah, but it costs a lot of money. You should save your money. You shouldn't spend it, blah, blah, blah. And again, I completely understand that. But what makes you better at work? What makes you perform better at work? What makes you perform better as a mother? Again, think about the benefits. If you're constantly harassed and running around all day, tidying up, cleaning up, washing up, blah, 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 right? All of these things that you have to do all day, every day. Are you really spending time with your children? Would you rather spend a couple of pounds or dollars or whatever it is and get some help in the home so that you can now sit with your kids and you can teach them? Right? Okay, this is the thing, and you can spend that time. And I can see right now there's some people that are leaving because this is probably triggering, and it will trigger people because they'll be thinking to themselves, because they've been taught their whole life that we can't get help. This is like some people that live here in this country that are working, they have got a mindset of, we can't get help. What do you mean? No, we're not. When we can do it ourselves, right? Again, you can do it yourselves. It's not hard to do it yourself. It isn't. What happens is you're trading your time for money. So you got to decide, like, is it worth me spending that money so I can have more time with my kids? Or am I going to spend the time so I have more money for the kids? That's what you're doing. And it's constantly, it's a battle, it's a balance. There might be some months where you're like, you know what, I've just got to do the work myself because I need the money, right? Other months you're like, you know what, let me spend the money because I need more time with the kids. And that's fine. You just decide what's easier for you. And that's why I created Homeschool Like a Pro, because what I can do for you is, if you trade me some money, I can give you back a lot of the time, because you don't need to research for your lessons. You don't need to go on Pinterest and find all the latest ways to teach certain things. You don't need to find out spend all that time, like I said to you, about how can I teach maths, how can I teach English, how can I teach science. I'm going to teach you all of that. The ladies that are on the course at the moment, they've learned how to teach their child how to read. So we've gone through the 3 to 5 stage of teaching them how to read. We've gone through the 3 to 5 stage of teaching them maths, and the 3 to 5 stage of teaching them writing, right? And again, you might think, hang on a minute, reading and writing, both of that's English. It is, but they're completely different skills. So we're talking about drawing, going to scribbling, going to the next stage, what implements they should use. We're talking about their hand grip, how the hand grip changes. When they're younger, they hold it like this. When they're older, they start holding it like that. When I get people who are a parent of a 3.5-year-old, my daughter does not know how to hold the pen. Well, have you guys seen the skeleton of the hand of a 5-year-old compared to a fully grown child, right? Have a look at it. You see it's developed differently. These bones over here are still not developed. Some of these finger bones are not developed, right? So in a 5-year-old child is going to look different to a 7, 8, 9-year-old child. Why? Because their bones haven't formed. So because they haven't formed, they're not going to hold the pen in the same way that we hold the pen. These are such basic things that I can show you and help you with, that your mind's going to be like, oh my God, this is so easy. I can just wake up in the morning on a Monday. You'll get all of the information that you need to teach them during the week. You've got all the time of the week to do it all in. You're going to do it in 3 to 4 days. You're going to have Fridays off. Fridays are going to be chill day, namaz day, Jummah day, right? Take them out day, have a takeaway day, right? And then you've got the whole entire week to teach them and do what you want to do, right? You're not going to have the anxiety of getting them ready for, they must be ready at this time, or must be doing this at this time, or must be doing that at that time. You're going to have the freedom to teach your children your way. You're going to explore different ways of teaching. You're going to find out how kids are examined and help them in their exams, and you're going to empower them, right? You're going to empower your children to do better, to do well, inshallah. And if you are at all interested in signing up, I want 10 mums to sign up with me. So far we have 6, so there's only 4 spaces left. So please do, if you're interested, sign up with us. You can see the links down below. I've still got the 33% offer, so you can join in and get 33% off. It's going to be a very expensive course when I finally put it out online, and we're doing it live at the moment, and it's going to be recorded in future. Again, excuse me. And we're going to do it recorded in future. It's going to be more expensive and it's going to be recorded. And I guarantee you people are going to absolutely love it because of all of the information that I've shared out. And just before we go, I'm going to just share what some of the mums have said about the course, and then I'm going to let all of you go. So one of the sisters said that I'm so excited about doing this because I want to do nothing after having my baby and I want to enjoy my time to the fullest. They grow up too soon. So she's doing the course so that she can have a fully ready-made curriculum so that she'll be there for her baby and her 5-year-old will get taught. The 9-year-old she has is in online classes, but the 5-year-old she's going to teach herself with all the materials that I give, right? Another sister said, I want to be with you for the full year because it's going to be all the resources, all the worksheets, everything is given to me at the right time. So I don't have to worry about where I'm going to get the resources from, how much this is going to cost, how much that is going to cost. One of the sisters said to me about the RSE curriculum. She said she's trying to convince her husband to buy it. And I said, don't worry. The one that I shared in the WhatsApp group the other day, I'm going to buy it for everyone with Homeschool Like a Pro. So there will be certain things that we'll buy as a group and we can all take part in them. We can all share them, inshallah. It says there are a lot of schools that send the curriculum and the teacher support, but I don't trust anyone more than you. Sister says, I just want to say I'm always thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for finding you. May Allah bless you. It's just that English, not my native language, so sometimes I'm unable to express myself. Okay, another one says, I'm happy to write reviews and about love learning. I tell everyone they have to enroll with you. Honestly, you have the sense of calmness every time you talk. And then I love the example you gave with the packet of crisps. SubhanAllah, spot on. You shared lots of ideas and lessons that can be planned around a packet of crisps. Really looking forward to Homeschool Like a Pro sessions. And the thing is that in Homeschool Like a Pro, you'll be given everything that you need to teach. So you can see in the picture here, we've got the Love Learning Education Planner. We've got the Busy Mums Planner that sorts out all the chores and the meal planning and stuff for you. And we also have the Productivity Journal. So first of all, you'll learn how to use the Productivity Journal and then you'll teach your children. And again, that is like another skill that you can teach them to get things done. Okay, so inshallah, I hope that all of you have enjoyed my monologue today. I wish that there was someone else that came on with me, but it's okay. Next time, I think I've learned to get more help and more coaches on online with us, maybe to talk about their experiences and what they've learned. For example, Yusra Ishaq is a full-time coach and entrepreneur, and she homeschools, mashallah, 4 kids, and she does online lessons with Love Learning Online. And her children are being taught, and she's absolutely happy with us because she knows that she can leave the teaching to us, and she is and she only has to. Are you okay, mate? Yeah. So she can leave the teaching to us, and then she's free to do whatever she wants to do. And basically that's what we're doing. So we're either helping you to do it yourself or we're supporting you and doing it for you. Either way, we're here for you, and we're there to help you home educate your children, inshallah. Hope and pray that you're all well. And yeah, just send me a message if there's any questions you want to talk about. Again, look in the description box below to sign up. You can also come into our WhatsApp chat and learn more about what we do. You can also come in and sign up for the entire session. All right, sisters, so take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.